from another planet? Is Janet 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 from another planet?
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The opinions you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show. And it's really sad that we're going to start off, right off the bat, talking about, well, not really talking about it, but bringing it up, the fact that Kyle Busch passed away. And it's just really sad. It just doesn't seem fair, you know. But I'm going to play a little thing that talks about how he was asking for a doctor to give him a shot during one of his recent races, and he had cold-like symptoms. But I don't know if that had anything to do with why he passed. But he was only 41 years old. And I just wonder if he was one of the ones who was vaccinated or not. But I just want everybody to please pray for his family, because it's really sad, especially being so young. But I want to play this little thing. It's only a half a minute or whatever long, but I just want you guys to hear. Here we go.
Kyle Busch has been suffering from a sinus cold all week. Lost 5 spots on that pit stop. He has asked to have medical attention available after the race. Here's his radio.
And can somebody try to find Bill Heisel? He's the Hendrick doctor guy. Tell him I need him after the race, please. Hey, do you want Mr. Bill at your car or at your bus after the race? Bus. I'm gonna need a shot. Copy. He'll be at your bus.
Racing can't be any fun when your head is completely stuffed up like that.
It's the worst.
Kyle Busch.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. I mean, I know what it's like because of my allergies and stuff to be stuffed up. But sometimes they get an IV afterward because it helps them stay hydrated. It also has extra vitamin C, vitamin D, things like that to help boost their immunities. But I just want everybody to be thinking about his family and praying for him. But besides this, there's also some other bad news that I'm going to share. Just give me a second. I got to bring it up. Yeah, it's just it's just sad, But I think it's this one. Yeah, I just wanted to tell everyone, if you don't know already, that Tulsi Gabbard is stepping down. She turned in her resignation. Her husband has been diagnosed with extremely rare bone cancer. So she'll be stepping down. And man, she did such a good job, but I can understand that she wants to be there with her husband, and I pray for him, and I hope everyone prays for him to help him through this cancer struggle that he's on. It's just really sad, but she's done such a phenomenal job, and I hope everybody's thinking about it. But things like this happen, and we have to be able to just keep chucking. It's the best we can do, is to try to just keep staying active and not let sad things like that ruin our days, because things are going to happen. But I want to bring up a few people here. Let's see. Hi, Jackie. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you so much. I know you can't stay very long, but you're always telling me good luck, and I really appreciate that. But I don't think you ever identified the other planet. No, the other planet I'm from is called Venus. So I just stay here for short periods of time, and then I travel back and forth. But there's no men on my planet, so that's why I come here. Oh, hello, baby girl. Thank you for stopping in. I really appreciate it. But Agent, I hope you're doing well. Haven't talked to you in a little while. But hello. Thank you for stopping in. Cake or Death game. I appreciate you coming in and saying hello. And hi, Lloyd Christmas. I hope you're doing well. No, Ruben, I didn't get your message on X. But do you want me to send you an invite? I will. Hold on. Let me guys, just hold on for a second. I got to send Ruben an invite. I'm getting really lax at it because I'm so used to doing the show by myself that I just forget to send people an invite to say, hey, come join me for the show, because people are sick or they're busy or they just don't want to, talk about politics. So just give me 1 second. I'm going to send this to Ruben. Okay, Ruben, I'm sending you this. Hopefully it looks good, because sometimes these things don't look very good. But there you go. I sent it to you. So I'll see you in a few minutes, hopefully. Let's see. This next thing I wanted to bring up, I think it's number 12 right here. Maybe up further. Hold on. Just a second. I gotta let Ruben in real quick. Hey, Ruben, how you doing? Okay. Well, good. I'm sorry I didn't send you an invite. I just now sent one to Bruce too, so that just in case, because I didn't even think about it. but he might come in. But yeah, that's some really sad news about Kyle Busch and her stepping down because her husband's ill. So we got two of them. You know, it's really really sad. But I just wanted to start off with that. But really quickly, let me bring this one up. That's not the one I wanted. Oh, here it is. It's number 28. So give me 1 second. Okay, I thought this was really sweet, so I wanted to share it with everyone. I thought it was adorable. I'd never seen anything like this before. It says that a Ford dealership in Kansas can't release a sold F-250 because a robin moved in. It says an employee at the dealership located in Kansas City noticed a robin building a nest at the on the tire of a brand new Ford 250 that was already sold. The robin laid 4 eggs and successfully hatched them out. So the truck is now stuck on the lot until the chicks fledge, because the Migratory Bird Treaty Act of 1918 makes it illegal to disturb an active nest of any native bird in the United States. It said the buyer has been a good sport, and the dealership called it the only F-250 in America currently protected under federal law. I just thought that was so cute. You know, because who hears about stuff like that? I've never heard of anything like that before. But here is something from Lloyd Christmas. It sounds like a serious sinus infection. Yeah. You know, there's a very, very thin membrane between our brain and our sinuses. And if it gets a tear in it from sneezing too much, or, you know, putting a swab up there to test for COVID or whatever, you could break the brain barrier and get a really bad infection. So I don't know, but I'm hoping they can find out, and that the family does all right and has good support and stuff, because it's just really sad. But it says, I may not stay here long. I understand. I understand. You just take care of what you have to at home. I understand that a lot. So let's see. Yeah, I know. I've been talking politics off and on for a while. I've had my channel taken down for a week or two. But right now, I'm just demonetized. So for 2 months, I was getting, you know, like super chats. Yeah, super chats and stuff. And then I applied for my tax stuff. And then it was like 2 days later, I get this email that said I had been demonetized due to posting the same videos over and over again. So I was like, what? So I had to make a 5-minute video, and I posted it. It's on my page,
right, I saw that
exact video that I sent them, showing all the different stuff that I have, but apparently they still think that I'm posting the same stuff over and over. So I had a suggestion last night during after hours. Chris was on the show with me, and he told me to write episode 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, 4. You got a number.
So I went through today just on my shit shows, because I had 120 something shit shows. I put that on there, starting from the very first one.
Oh, yeah.
So I've been slowly trying to do that. And then I guess I'll wait and see if they say anything. But, you know, it's just ridiculous that the person can't look at the video I sent them. It shows all the different stuff that I have on my show or on my channel. But, oh, well, you know. So I've seen channels where they just have a camera facing on the lake behind their house, and that's all they do. So... and that's repetitive, you know, that's like the same thing over and over again. So I don't know. I have no idea. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. And, you know, oh, well, nothing I can do about it. I can't pull something out of my ass that I don't have, basically. Yeah. A lot of people say that it's AI. It's not even humans. So if it's not a human, then, you know, they can say whatever they want. It doesn't really matter, does it? But here we go. Let's see what this next thing I had to pull up. It's number 12. Oh, that's not it either. Just give me a second. I got to close this and look up there and see what I'm messing up on. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here we go. This is it. Sorry. Just really having a bad time today. Figuring out what I'm doing. Okay, it's number 7. All right, so you probably saw this already, but it says breaking. The former SOCOM employee, let me push pause on this, arrested for leaking classified secrets to journalists has been identified as Courtney Williams, a U.S. Army veteran. Give her the maximum penalty, put our troops' lives at risk, should be met with harsh punishments. But I'm going to play this for you. Here you go.
Secret security clearance while she worked with Delta Force there with the Army in Fort Bragg. She's the whistleblower that called out the maltreatment that she was experiencing while working there. But the feds believe she was giving away a lot more than just workplace secrets that could have put soldiers' lives at risk.
For 8 years, Courtney Williams worked in the Army's Delta Force at Fort Bragg, behind-the-scenes work to help maintain cover for one of the military's most secretive groups. But now she's being accused of leaking top-secret information to a journalist that could have put soldiers' lives at risk. Williams was quoted in Seth Harp's book, The Fort Bragg Cartel.
My book is critical of these institutions because I think that waging war in secrecy for 20 years gives rise to a host of cultural problems that spill over into communities like Fayetteville.
WRAL interviewed Harp about the book in October. Williams was quoted extensively when referring to a toxic work environment within Delta Force, where she claimed she was sexually harassed and discriminated against while also sharing information about work she would do. A criminal complaint filed today indicates she had concerns about how Harp's reporting could affect her, telling her mother, "I might actually get arrested," and also telling Harp, "I would definitely have been concerned with the amount of classified information being disclosed." She continued, saying in part, "I'm taking deep breaths, but have a feeling this is going to be more of a nightmare for my children than not." Harp declined an interview, but sent me a statement calling this a vindictive act of retaliation and saying in part, "Former Delta Force operators disclose national defense information on podcasts and YouTube shows every day, but the government is going after Courtney for the sole reason that she exposed sexual harassment and gender discrimination in the unit."
I thought that was interesting.
So the Eastern District of North Carolina says they will be releasing some sort of press release sometime soon, but don't have a public comment to give me at this point. I have also reached out.
When they mentioned the other person, other people that supposedly leaking information, I'm sure it was Dan Bongino and a few others that I've had on the show that were ex-military, that talk on a podcast and stuff, talk about, different things. So, but I hope they dig into it and figure it out, because if she is just leaking, the only information she's leaking was about her sexual harassment stuff and who did it, then that's a totally different story. But the way that they first started putting it out, it sounded like she was leaking like where they're hiding or what they're doing, where they're doing, you know what I mean? It kind of sounded more like that than the whole thing with sexual harassment. So I hope they find out and get into the bottom of it. And she's very verbal about it, because if it is a cover up of some sort, that wouldn't be good. I think that, with the mess that we have with the DEI hires and stuff, that we need to have it come to the surface, and we'll find out, for sure what's going on is what I think. I hope, but we'll have to just wait and see. But I just wanted to share that because I thought that was interesting story that hardly heard anybody else talking about. So, that's the way it is. But let's see. I think it's this one. Yeah, I think this is it. This is another one that I thought was pretty good. Let me push pause right here. Have you heard about this one? About our education secretary, Linda McGahn, just found out that dead people were getting student loans for federal government. Billions of dollars are now being saved. There were bots, ghost students, dead people getting these loans. We enforced and tweaked the entire system, so we have real-time fraud identity now, which is great. I mean, It's really pissing off so many people because they can't get their freebies anymore. But a person that applied for a loan for a dead person so that they get the money to do whatever, they should go to prison, don't you believe? Ruben,
Yep,
don't you think they
yep.
should go to prison? I mean, I can't see why anyone would complain about anyone trying to stop fraud. It's shocking to me how many people I hear complaining about how this is like harassment of some sort. You know, it just doesn't make any sense that these people have no common sense whatsoever if they actually believe that stopping dead people, but it's not even dead people. It's the actual person who submitted the paperwork using dead person's information is the person who's breaking the law, and they should be prosecuted for it. So I hope they do it, because I just think that's ridiculous that this kind of shit is even happening, because there's no checks and balances. As apparently somebody is just sitting around and just smoking cigarettes or whatever and enjoying the paychecks coming in. I mean, for years and years and years. I mean, I wonder how long all this fraud, we're finding out it's been going on for like, you know, quite a while. And these people are like on their probably at least second generation of people living off the tit of all of us, you know, all of our tax dollars just being funneled out in so many different directions, not going to the people, the veterans, or people that even, most of them, you know, don't even, you know, live here. You know, a lot of them live in other countries. So it's just, to me, it's just, I'm shocked by all of it. It's just so much of it. But the thing is, it's coming out. You know, more and more people are talking about it. It's being leaked out, more and more information. So, you know, we're starting to see it. Now I just want to see some of it in jail. Some of the people in court. That would be really, really good. Now, I've played Tim Burchett a few times, but I'm going to play his whole thing here. He's talking about, he says he's stormed out of a committee meeting saying a backroom deal was cut to let the Democrats control what they do. You know what I mean? Because we have too many fake Republicans or conservatives that are actually really Democrats that ran on the R ticket. That's basically how they run things. They're not America first. They're not trying to pass the agenda that, you know, all of us voted for Trump, and are, you know, their numbers, their approval ratings have dropped since they've not tried to do anything. They're not trying to finish the job or help Trump get the job done. So I just want to see something taken care of. Here we go.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett just left the committee. Had some amendments that were cutting regulation, things that we should as Republicans do because of backroom deals they cut. They won't allow any amendments on the bill because the Democrats one Democrat didn't agree to it. So here we are in the majority, and we're not allowed to do that. And I'll guarantee you, when the Democrats are in the majority, which they very much could be because of this kind of garbage, we're going to be in the majority. You all have extended us an incredible gift, and we're going to blow it because we're not acting like we're in the majority. We got opportunity. It's not sexy. Deals with bridges and things. Anyway, the amendment did, and we allow the Democrats to tell us what to do. It's just unbelievable. At some point, we're gonna have to give some guts. This town is crooked as a dog's leg, and I'm disgusted. So, thank y'all for sending me here. I really am glad you sent me here. This is the kind of stuff I want to fight, and I'll let them have it. Anyway, thank y'all.
Now, see, the thing is, we still have honest people that are still trying to fight. They're still trying to let us know what's going on and give us transparency so that we can tell other people and hopefully other people will vote those people out, or, like what we're seeing with the upturns with like Massey and a few others during their midterm things, so people are fed up. People are sick and tired of the same old kicking the can down this road even longer shit. And there more and more people are standing up to it and putting people like him in office, and Kennedy. He's another one that does the same thing. He makes his own little videos, from home or whatever on his phones. He's just like, he just gets so pissed because there's nothing you can do. And he said they're just nothing but a bunch of cowards. They just cower in the corner and take their check just like regular Democrats would do. So it's really frustrating, but it's still nice to have somebody that we know is still trying to fight. And it's not just him, because I've seen, a few here and there all doing the same thing. So we do have, a couple here and there that are all trying to, fix the mess. But hold on, I got to look at this and see what happened. Let me see. We refresh this and see if it fixes it. Okay, it fixed it. Good. All right, I was worried about that because when I went on click on it, it was that little pile of poop with the X on it, saying that something went wrong. So let me open that one up. That's the one I was trying to open. I was like, what is going on? But here we go. All right. The mastermind behind the feeding of our future fraud scam. Have you heard that? Feeding our future, the fraud scam in Minnesota has just been sentenced to 41.5 years in prison. It says Amy Bach orchestrated the $250 million scam during COVID, billing taxpayers for fake meals for kids. She deserves every single day of this sentence and more. But here's the whole thing. I'm going to play it for you.
Breaking news. A Minnesota judge has just sentenced the mastermind behind the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme, Amy Bach. She just got more than 41 years in prison. The prosecution is asking for a 50-year sentence and her defense about 3 years. So that's somewhere in the middle that they got that, but closer to what obviously the prosecution wanted. The scheme involved the theft of nearly $250 million in COVID funding. That money was meant to feed hungry children. State leaders claim they were unaware of the fraud. Here's what Amy Bach told our Alexis McAdams from jail back in January.
I honestly believe Keith Ellison and Governor Walz need to be held accountable. There needs to be an investigation done. If they weren't aware, that's concerning.
Breaking news, a Minnesota judge has just
They weren't aware that she was stealing? Is that what she was basically saying? I mean, like, she was there. I'm sure they made a shit ton of money, all of these people, because when they did the recall, trying to recall him, Waltz or whatever his name is, none of the Democrats, not a single Democrat voted to impeach him or get rid of him. So they're just as corrupt as him, because if you can't vote against someone to put them in jail, whether they have an R or an L or a D beside their name or whatever their skin tone is, but because they're a criminal and they're stealing from the people that put you in office to stop the crime and whatever else, then you're useless. Why are you even there? Why are you running for office and saying you're going to do certain things, but you'll only do it to that one guy way down there at the end of the road, no one else? It's just pathetic and sad. But did you hear about this already, this whole thing?
Yes, I heard about it. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, man. But it's good. It's good news. This is someone who just got sentenced to 41 years in prison for scamming $250 million from the taxpayers. So, somebody is being punished. And it's just hard to see it. I mean, I hardly see anything on the news. It's either on here or TikTok or Instagram, or, somebody sends me a text and says, hey, look at this. That's how I find out about a lot of stuff. I hardly ever see stuff like this on the news. And it's, I don't know. To me, the news is years ago when I was a little kid. I remember like my mom used to watch, I think it was called Headline News or something like that. And every half hour, they started the news cycle again where they were just saying the news, car crash, a train wreck, or a tornado. They were talking about all kinds of a robbery or, things, news. And today it's like everyone's The View. I mean, there isn't anyone doing the news anymore. It's all, commenting on somebody's clothes or whether that person's going to be in a golf tournament or, I don't know. It's ridiculous. I just want to get back to the facts where we have people at a news desk talking about the news, and informing people like I thought the news was supposed to be, but I guess not anymore. But I hope we get back to something similar to that, because we sure need to know what's going on. But I'm glad to see that. I wonder who the judge was, because it was in Minnesota, right? And they're pretty much really bad corrupt, as far as I can tell. So it's shocking. But I guess they realized, hey, we better put her in jail because it'll get a ton of evidence, and or we're going to be having people pointing the finger at us because we're not doing anything. So, hopefully these people are wising up, but I don't know if they are or not. Let me see if this is it. Oh, I already did that one. Okay. I wonder why. Some of them come up twice. That's really weird. I don't know if that's normal or not. Let me see if this is the same one or not. Let me look. No, this is another one. This was really good. Let me get it to.
Today, we are.
I'm gonna turn it up. Make sure it's turned up. But this was Dr. Oz, and you can see Kennedy on each side of him. He's announcing a massive $90 million fraud bust in Tim Walz's Minnesota, with criminal charges being slapped on 15 defendants. This involves 7 state-managed Medicaid programs, totally plundered, completely bankrupt them. So, wow, that's a lot of money. So when they find these people, I hope they can take their homes, every dime out of their bank account, all their vehicles, everything, anything that we can sell, get money back or whatever, to pay back the taxpayers. I hate to say that. I feel sorry for his family and stuff to be without, but they'll have to move in with grandma and grandpa or aunts and uncles because their parents were scum. It's really sad to say that, but we can't just let them have all this money and not have to pay some of it back, is at least whatever they haven't spent. You know what I mean? I hope that they do that. But here we go. I'm gonna play this for everybody.
Today, we are announcing criminal charges against 15 defendants in Minnesota for fraud schemes that targeted over $90 million in taxpayer dollars. Let me be clear up front about something. This is not the end of our work in Minnesota. This is not the end of the beginning of our work in Minnesota. This is the beginning of our work in Minnesota. The fraud here in Minnesota is shocking. Our cases today involve 7 different state-managed Medicaid programs that have been systematically pilfered by fraudsters who treated Minnesota-run programs as their personal piggy bank. One of the programs has been completely shut down because there's no money left. It's all gone. That was Minnesota's state-run Housing Stabilization Services Program.
Completely bankrupt. Just think about that. Remember what they were saying a while back when they were shoveling, they were sending money as fast as they could to Ukraine because they could see that they were going down, that Camilla wasn't going to get elected, and that Trump was going to probably be back in. And they were just sending money as fast as they could because they had to get it in the process to be funneled back to wherever it is that they wanted the money to go. And basically, it seems like when Doge started, man, it was a lot. Remember, they were torching cars. They were just doing all kinds of damage trying to stop this, and they were probably trying to shovel money as fast as they could in the cars or whatever, to get it out of there where they had it, like sending pallets of cash in the middle of the night, like some other presidents were doing, just so they can get it for their mansions and stuff, to send it wherever it is, whatever bank accounts they had. But they were trying to scramble. And when you scramble, you make mistakes. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people, as soon as Doge was involved, and they knew what was happening, because they knew, a criminal knows they're a criminal. Okay. They know from the get-go that, them sneaking around, stealing money or playing with kids or taking stuff, breaking cars, whatever it is they're doing, they already know it's illegal. So they're always looking over their shoulder, waiting for that one time when they're going to be someone's coming for them. So I none of this is a surprise to any of these people. They were just trying to get the money out as quickly as they could, as fast as they could, to the people they were supposed to, send it to or pay or whatever with it. And but it's nice because look, you got Dr. Oz standing there and Kennedy Jr. standing there beside this guy. And so this is legitimate. This is a legitimate 15 more people besides that one woman who just got 41 and a half years for that $250 million fraud scheme that she was in. And did she look like a person that scammed $250 million? You know what I mean? Man, if I was working that hard to scam, at least I would do is go and get my face done. And, I don't know, I'd be spending some money on myself, you'd think. Why else would you want all the money? I don't know. You can only have so many houses to live in and so much jewelry because you can't wear it all at the same time. I don't know. I just don't understand. I just don't see what anyone can do with $250 million. Doesn't even seem real. I don't know. I just don't know what these people are doing with so much cash. It's just shocking to me. But I don't know what we're going to do. I just hope we can get some of it back. We're just in really, really bad shape. But let's see, what was the next thing I wanted to bring up? Oh, yeah. Now, this is one of the reasons why we keep seeing, like what we saw with Merchant being upset because it says that nobody wants to vote. Nobody wants to do anything to push anything through to get it done like we said we would do when we came here, blah, blah, blah. Well, I want to show you this because I think this is the one. No, that's not the right one. Oh, don't I gotta go to the bottom one, I think. This sucks. I think this is it. This is one of the reasons why we don't ever get anything done. Because when they vote, this was a vote for the transgender thing. It says the U.S. House passed legislation to stop the transgender indoctrination of our kids in schools nationwide. And look, 198 Democrats voted against it. So these 198 Democrats, want to let them keep cutting up kids. It's just sickening to me. I can't believe we still have people that won't stop doing this to children. They're kids and they don't even know what they want to do in their lives. And if you let them mutilate their body, their chances are this much smaller. They're this wide. It narrows their whole life of choices. Just because they think they might be a kitty cat doesn't mean they are, It's pathetic. But it says the legislation cracks down on public schools, circumventing the parents and changing students' gender and sex accommodation while also defunding gender ideology programs. So I just can't believe that they would.
You have to remember
what's
going on here.
Yeah,
If
what?
you know, well, the thing is, again, we have let our schools be overrun by it's I don't even say leftist ideology. It's an ideology of suicidal empathy. It's an ideology that wants to destroy. Think about it. When you have, if you go back to biblical terms, you are born. You are in the image of God. Okay, you're born. Now, what they're saying is, like, you grew up as a tomboy. Imagine if you were now, you would have teachers telling you, whispering to you, that you are actually a boy, and they're hiding it from parents because because again, think about it. If you take what God gave you and then mutilate it, that's what they want. It's all part of sacrifice. It's all part of destruction. And when you have the academia saying, "Oh yeah, it's a reproductive care. You're helping these kids, you know, because they really are transgender or whatever crap they are, which they're not, and they are basically, you know, trying to, you know, because you have all these different surgeries. Think about all the surgeries they do, and you have surgeons that are excited to do this because it's mutilation. The same thing with Botox, the same thing with the Ozempic, the same thing with all medications. It's a big cabal where they try and say, okay, what can we do to utilize everything and change everything around? It's the mutilation of humanity, and it's basically that's what they do. And the way that our system and government right now is set up, it's a binary where it's as dumb as, you know, here's a glass and the glass is half full or half empty, and they argue over this glass being half full or half empty, and they don't go beyond anything else. So that's the main issue here, that you have, and again, here's where we have to basically say the truth. It's a uniparty. There are very, very few people, Burchett, a few others, that are out there trying to make a difference. But this whole tug of war of 200 to 190, or it's a difference of one vote, 202 to 200. Do you think it's that's the way it is? No, because it's only R&D. They slap it over, and you have some crossover because again these bills they are voting for are so huge. You have one little thing here, one amendment, this and that. It's just crazy. So basically, it's a terrible scheme for all humanity. What they're doing, they're just basically destroying the family, destroying lives, and they don't care about it.
Well, after I saw that vote, this was sent to me, and I wanted to play it for everyone. It's not very long, but just listen to what his response is to this young woman, because basically what he's doing is that he's doing what Charlie Kirk was doing. You know, a lot of people have stepped up and they're stepping in to go to these colleges and talk to these young people that asked all these questions and stuff. So, which is really great. And it's really hard to imagine regular people, you know, that aren't liberal, you know, wackos or whatever, going to colleges and being led on campus to actually speak to students. But I wanted to share this. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this. It was sent to me from someone off of TikTok, but I want to play it for you. And it's a few minutes long, and I'll pause it here and there so we can talk about it if you guys want. But I want you to listen to this young woman and she's talking about, you know, indigenous people that live there and things like that into her.
Okay. I know.
What she believes.
Yeah.
Right?
This is where
You've seen it.
You want to pause this. You want to pause this periodically, okay? So it's go ahead.
Okay, but here we go.
Kat, and I have a question. And before I state my question, I just want to honor that we are all standing on the land that belongs to the Ojibwe Anishinaabe people.
Thank you for mentioning that. I meant to mention that at the beginning of my speech,
Yep.
but I'm glad that
Dakota, Northern Cheyenne,
listen to him. He's
and
really,
they have
really
been here for
good.
time immemorial. And so that leads into my
No, that's
question.
wrong.
So
Shut the
you
fuck
make
up,
the
Clint.
statement
You're wrong.
that transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely. And so I'm going to ask you a question about that. But prior to that, I want to just state that for 5,000 years BC, Gala transcribed and androgynous trans priests of Sumerian goddesses have been around and noted. 200 to 300 years before Christ in ancient Greece, there were gods.
What?
That's again, she's mentioning all this shit. Oh, back in Samaria, they did this. They had, you know, the women and men, and yeah, that's why Babylon fell, moron. Decadence.
The thing is, they're grasping at straws. So bring up anything and throw it at the wall to see what sticks. That's what they do.
Yeah, but continue.
He's handling this
Societies
like
that
a
collapse.
pro. He handles this like a pro, and you can see he's intently listening to what she's saying. And that's what's important, because it's not just her that he's speaking to. You got to remember, everyone in this audience is listening to what she is saying, asking, and what he's going to say back to her, and see if she can trip him up, you know, that type of thing. He's just, I wish I was this smooth. I swear. Just watch this.
As worshipped by Gali priests who wore feminine attire and identified as women. Since we are standing on Anishinaabe land, Turtle Island, which is the nation that we live under, has
I don't
had
live under
two-spirited
Turtle
people.
Island.
Right. Well, maybe you should read a little more Indigenous knowledge books. Indigenous communities have used two-spirit personas for the entirety of their culture. And so that leads me to my question. When you say that transgenderism must be eradicated from public life entirely, I ask you, Mr. Knowles, how can we eradicate something that has been here as long as humans have?
Well, yeah, there have been all sorts of crazy, terrible ideas for a very long time, too. You're pointing to civilizations that committed human sacrifice, okay? You're saying that some ancient pagan tribe worshipped demons and therefore we need to castrate children. That's not a good argument. Yes, that's true. There were all sorts of terrible tribes. In fact, as recently as a little over 500 years ago, the Aztecs here in the Western Hemisphere slaughtered 80,000 people in a sacrifice to one of the demons that they worshipped within the span of 4 days. That's not a recommendation of doing that. I don't think that we ought to consider it. Though, unfortunately, in our increasingly pagan and liberal culture, we do commit human sacrifice to the tune of 800,000 babies a year sacrificed through abortion. And it would make the Aztecs blush what we
See, the people are listening, and it's almost like everyone in the room is hanging on every word that he says, but except the girl. You know, that she seems frustrated because she was scrambling to try to have a question that there's no way he could deny her what she believed was true. See what I mean? And I'm loving this.
People are retarded. This whole stolen land shit. The Indians
I know.
Here,
I have Indian relatives that were raised on reservations, and we understand that every land on this planet sooner or later will be conquered by someone who's stronger, if that's what they want. If they want to take it from you, either you teach your people to protect you and your people in your nation, or you got to be willing to step down and let someone else take it. I mean, that is the truth. But here we go.
But that doesn't make it the right thing. You refer to a notion that is increasingly popular on the left, which is the idea of the two-spirit among various indigenous tribes. That is not real. That is a contrivance of white liberals in America. There have been various conceptions of sex and gender for all of human history, but the idea of the two-spirited indigenous intuition of some modern transsexual living in New York City who's a man who very much desires to be a woman, that is is a complete fiction. You will not find that in literature dating very far back. So what does it say about the question itself? The question, regardless of what the ancient Sumerians believed before they chopped up little kids or whatever, is it true? Can a man really be a woman, and can a woman really become a man? We all know that the answer to that question is false. That's why Professor McCloskey pulled out of our debate at the last moment next week, because even a distinguished professor knows, he has the intelligence to know, even if he is transgender identifying himself, that he can't win that debate because the idea is indefensible. So the question becomes, how does one know that someone with the total physical appearance of a man, how can one know that that person really is a woman? Do you have an answer to that question?
To clarify, you're asking how can somebody know if they are a woman?
And how can I know if that person is a woman? If not by the physical attributes, their natural and enduring biological sex. What's the alternative to that?
So my response to you is then a question of, what is the purpose of knowing another person's sexual identity but let me finish.
Yeah.
If it's not for the premise of reproduction, and there's no need to relate outside of that.
What?
Yeah, they're latching on to the reproductive argument, where they basically say, well, some women cannot have children; they're barren. So are they women or not women? They're missing the point. They're women. That's
the only thing that that's what I'm saying. She's grasping at anything and throwing it against the wall to see what sticks, because what she thought she had is, she's
a useful idiot for just for just a mentality that she needs to be an institution.
The thing is, he handled it like a pro. And he's still handling it like a pro, and he's being honest, straightforward, and to the point. And this is how you have to talk to these people, because if you get all upset and argue with them, they shut down. They're not listening to you. But even though that woman is upset about it, the answers he's given her, the people around her sitting down are more and more of them, because each time they
and Knowles, Knowles is not white. He's basically he's got some maybe Mexican or whatever blood in him.
Yeah.
This girl's all pure white. She's a bullshit. It's just bullshit.
Yeah, definitely. But I thought it's very interesting for anyone who might be listening, and I'm going to share the link to this actual video, and hopefully, because I've been sharing it all day long with relatives and stuff, because I think he's great. And this is why we need it. We need this type of debate on campuses and in high schools. If the kids are asking these types of questions, we need to give them the truth as an answer. You can't just make stuff up and throw it out the window and think that, that's enough. It's not enough. You should always tell the truth, especially when it's a young mind that is learning about the world. But let me finish it real quick.
Then I don't quite understand why we would need to question or.
So this is what happens whenever you ask a transgender activist to explain even the basic premise of the movement, is they'll immediately say, well, who cares? Why are you so obsessed with this? I'm not obsessed with this. I'm not the one who started sending men into the women's bathroom and taking away their trophies and castrating kids. I'm perfectly happy with the way things have worked for thousands of years. It is the transgender activists who are trying to upend everything. And so I think it is at least my right to ask the question, okay, what is the premise of your movement? But they always deflect from that. They always withdraw from the debate. They always try to change the subject because there is no answer. So you ask me, well, what's the purpose of, why do you even care? What's the purpose of knowing someone's biological sex? Well, for starters, because we have civil rights specifically for women in the United States. We have special bathrooms for women. We have special sports leagues for women. We have all sorts of special places and rights and privileges and that are for women that are not for men. So if now some men, people who at the very least appear to be men, are claiming a right to go into those women's bathrooms, then we either have to abolish all of the special rights and privileges that have existed for women for all of human history and are enshrined in our law, or they need to explain to me how those men are actually women, and they can't do the latter, and I'm not willing to do the former, and I don't think women across this country are willing to do the former, even if a few people have been so ideologically blinded that they would give into this kind of an absurdity.
Perfect answer. I mean, every single thing he said was spot on. So I'm going to share that because that is an excellent video for anyone. If you have a person who's struggling to understand how come you can't pick and choose, well, you can't, because either you're a woman or you're not. And if you want to be treated like a woman,
that's it. There's no other crap like this.
then you're going to have to deal
Being
with
gay
the fact
is
that
mental
you're a
illness, too.
woman.
All mental
Yeah,
illness.
100%.
So I want
I
to.
just-
Did you have a time to share something?
Yeah. What do you want to share?
So I put the link in. You can share the
In
link
the private chat?
in the private chat, and I'll share it right now because it's a segue that's on this aspect. I wrote an article on
Okay.
Substack.
I'm
Go ahead.
gonna put it in the chat for people while you talk about it. But
Where-
once you bring it up, do you want me to bring it up?
I got it.
Okay.
I'll drive it. So I have this. I wrote this on Substack, and the link will be in. I hope put it both in Rumble and YouTube, so everyone has it. So it's my
Okay.
Substack. It's about suicidal empathy, haircut loose from reality. That's what's going on here. Because I've basically been doing a lot of studying my entire life about what's going on in the world and what's on now. And I wrote this article just to, when was it? Yesterday? Yeah, I wrote it yesterday. So the basic aspect here is the Ouroboros. If you know about the snake that eats itself, that's us. We are actually worms. We have, again, we're durasomes. We have, a mouth and an anus, and it's that's what we are. We're the snake. We're the snake in the Garden of Eden. We're the snake everywhere. We're doing it to ourselves. Everything that we do. So this article goes through at a very high logical level by the language that we use and the way that we implement it on how we're destroying ourselves. And I put down here, there's a prologue here. I won't read it. You can read it on your own. But it's very, very detailed. The false light of self-negation, because that's what's going on here. What they're doing, they're just destroying ourselves. That's all listed out here. I have the math behind it too, and everything. So here, in my math that I have here, it's basically the collapse of ordered love. They basically people have too much empathy. We can't arrest the black man for pushing down a guy down a subway. It actually happened. Or in England, some kid got stabbed, and he went to the police and pointed out the guy who did it was a black guy, and they basically said, "Oh, you're racist. You're telling him," and he died in police custody. And George Floyd, we can't say that here. I can't say it. I say all the words. Dumb, whatever. He killed himself. George Floyd is a piece of shit, and he's in hell. George Floyd.
Yeah, he was a drug addict, and they knew that.
Yeah.
A lot of people knew that.
And you got good people. Again, I'm sick and tired. So I have all this information because I have arithmetic. Because again, everything is logical. I base everything on logic. It's all here, and I'm putting together a whole document and information how we can get this out there. This is ridiculous. I'm done with it all. So I have it all here, and at the very, very end, I put down here that we have to we don't reject empathy. Reject empathy enthroned above the truth. What's going on? We don't reject compassion. We reject compassion weaponized against reality. Because these people are living in fantasy land. But again, we're all doing it to ourselves. By the media we consume, everything that we're doing. So it's just getting destroyed. I'm sick and tired of it. So that's why I don't watch TV anymore. I don't watch, I very few YouTube channels. I read and I'm right. That's all I do.
Yeah.
So yeah, follow me
Well-
on Substack there so you can see this more information.
Yeah, I don't watch hardly any television anymore. I watch movies on Sunday, but they're old movies, and I watch those with Bruce, and we do the reviews on them. And then every so often I might go to the movie theater, but then every so often I'll watch something that someone recommended I watch on TV, but that's like maybe once or twice a month. That's it. That's all the TV I watch.
Right.
So, most of the time I'm either crafting or working in my yard or
I was scrolling through because again I'm trying to reconcile my friend passed away, and all she would do is scroll on Instagram, and everything that she's watching is like, what are you watching? It's crap. It's terrifying,
Mhm. Yeah, there's a lot of crap. But here was something that someone sent me too. I thought was, what the this is the kind of stuff that really pisses me off, because remember, I've said a billion times, this is the 111th Friday Night Shit Show. Did you know that? I put it in the banner, because remember I went and had numbered them all.
Right.
Episode, because maybe that will help with the AI realizing that it's a different show, just because it has a picture to show that on my channel, that I separate them by using pictures, so that it's not just a bunch of people sitting in chairs or whatever. I wanted to have them singled out or whatever. But I'm always complaining that I don't want to bail out California. Oh, they're too big to fail. Well, they're failing because they're ripping people off. Like you were talking a couple weeks back about the $250 million fraud in that one little county in California from the hospice program, stuff like that. It's just ridiculous. That's just from one county. And look how big California is. And you and I have to pay it, even though I live in a state that has a balanced budget amendment. Why should my state have to help pay for California's debt? It's ridiculous, and I don't think we should. And I think all the people in the other states should fight and say, no, we are not giving California any money. They're going to have to start selling off some of the shit that their government has made or kept or whatever, and put some of the money back where it belongs. Start putting water where it belongs. Stop diverting it, here and there or whatever. Start fixing stuff. Manage your forests and do the stuff that you're supposed to do, and you wouldn't be overrun with fires and stuff. I don't know. It's just sad to see the mismanagement of California. And it seems like they just vote more and more radical people in to spend more money they don't have. And it's just makes me sick. But when I read this, it really made me mad. It says free taxpayer-funded massages are being provided for the homeless on Skid Row in Los Angeles. A nonprofit called Midnight Mission got, look how much money they got. $4,928,000 or $26,000 basically in government grants in just 1 year, and heads to Skid Row to provide the homeless with massages and dancing. If you recall, I also shared a video of construction workers who work near Skid Row saying they are people who come and set up foot massages for the homeless. California wants to make sure the multi-billion-dollar homeless honeypot doesn't just walk off and go somewhere else. So they have to keep them happy on Skid Row. End all NGO funding. They shouldn't even exist. Taxpayers should not be forced to pay for these programs, and they shouldn't. But see, the sad truth is this. If they put this on a ballot and said, do you want to pay this much a month more in gas or whatever tax, how they want to add it, so that these people can get massages and stuff at Skid Row? I think they'd say no, but and then they wouldn't get the money. That's why they don't tell you what they're going to do. They just say, we're going to help the people, the homeless. So when you hear that, you think, oh, they're going to try to help them get jobs, help them find a place to live. stuff like that. No, instead of worrying about that, they just give them a couple massages. It's just ridiculous and stupid. But I'm going to play this for you.
In the past few weeks, we've had a lot of things happen in Skid Row. We've had a couple of suicides. We had a woman give birth in our courtyard restroom. We are administering Narcan to people daily. It's a really hard life here in Skid Row, which makes it that much more important that the Midnight Mission is here providing hope and services every day. And this Sunday on 6th Street, we're going to transform the street into the Easter event where we're going to serve 2,000 people. We're going to provide meals, giveaway items. We're going to have music, and our community partners will be here providing much needed resources and service to those in need. We still need volunteers, so please come out and help bring the hope to our community. We look forward to seeing you this Sunday.
What's sad is all that money they wasted when they could have been cleaning up the street and taking these people to a shelter. See what I mean? Get them off the street. People don't even want to walk or shop anywhere near these businesses because of all the people laying around drunk or drugged up. And the garbage and the stink because they poop in the streets. They vomit. It's just gross. And it has to be here. They ran around for 5 years. Put your mask on. Don't stand but 6 feet away. Wear your gloves. Blah blah blah. And now you got shit everywhere. Human feces on the roads and stuff, and pee on the sidewalks and all that. And we're supposed to just think that's okay. And you step in human feces or whatever. After we just went through all this, and I still see people driving in their cars by themselves wearing a mask. Yeah, they're going to drive through Skid Row while people are getting a massage and there's shit right over there 5 feet away. Stuff like that. It's shocking that if I was to tell somebody that I'm making a screenplay about this shit, they would tell me that's the stupidest story I ever heard. No one would believe you. But look, it's happening right here as we speak. It's happening in our streets, and people are donating money to do it. It's just shocking to me that this is the kind of crap that they spend money on when they could be helping people with it, giving them food, baths, a place to sleep. I don't know. To me, it's ridiculous. All of this is ridiculous. I don't understand why this kind of stuff just keeps happening. Where these people come from. And when the money ends, when the money is cut off completely, this kind of stupid shit will stop. So we got to stop giving them money to waste. It's ridiculous. But yeah, I know it's 111 episodes tonight. I was shocked when I went through all those things to put episode 1, episode 2, all the way on there, because apparently they think I do the same show over and over again. I'm just playing the same video over and over because no human has watched it, even though I sent them a video, a 5-minute video showing them all the different stuff that I have. But apparently the AI thinks I'm making the same video because I have a picture that says Friday Night Shit Show. And it says the name of the show and stuff, but now I numbered them all because my guest last night said, try numbering all your shows 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's how stupid AI is. Because you got to remember, it's just AI. It's not a human being thinking like, a logical thought that, yeah, there's all these pictures of the same, but they're not the same show. But apparently they think so, but oh well. I can only do one thing. I'm just one person, but oh yes, I know. When I heard somebody tell me that, I go, you gotta be full of shit. There's no way that's real. But they showed it to me and I was like, this is disgusting. That somebody is actually making money from people downloading an app so it's nowhere not to go, so you don't step in human poop. Ew, it's just I don't know. It just is. It's scary shit. I mean, that this is where we are now in our country, where hard-earned people's tax dollars go to this kind of crap and apps, so you don't step in poop. Oh, I don't know. This is really, really sad. But man, we are in bad shape. I mean, we are really bad shape. If that's the kind of, well, not here, not in every area, but in California, it's gotten so crazy. Every day I watch the news now, it reminds me of that movie. What was the name of it? With Snake Plissken, and he got trapped in LA. Escape from LA, I think. And they had these crazy people like surgeons that were really weird looking because they kept doing.
So their actual people from California showed up.
It was like, it's just craziness. I mean, and it's happening right now. You look around and you see all this shit, and you're like, they could see the future, whoever wrote some of these movies, because it's like it's actually happening today. It's just scary stuff. But this is something I wanted to share because I was really excited about it. About 3 years ago, maybe a little longer than 3 years ago, when I first started doing live streams, I was on a channel with Drew Taylor, and we had a show, and it was called the something resistance or something like that. And we used to do it was a political type show, and we had a guest on there 3 years ago, and we were so excited about it because she stayed on our show for 3 hours and answered tons of questions. She was such a lady, and she was so kind. And I am excited to say I've had Brandy on my show a few times now. Every single video that we did together, I think it was 3 of them, they've all been taken down by YouTube. But they didn't like what we were talking about because she talks about children being trafficked and things like that. That she works for a group called Shepherd's Watch, okay, in Texas. Now they're working on branching out and trying to go do more things, because there's only a few of them that even show their face, because the other ones can't, because they go undercover. Okay. But what they try to do is help people on how to report things that you see, how to, try to get parents to understand how detailed trafficking is, and that kids traffic other kids, things like that. So there's just so much in there, but I'm so excited about it because I think it's supposed to air tonight. But I want to share this link. If anyone of you know Lara Logan, I mean, she's just I really love her. I think she's awesome. She went through some horrible stuff herself, but she's a fighter, and she's come through shining. But I want to play this so you can hear it. Let me turn it up.
Coming up on the next episode of Going Rogue with Lara Logan, we take on the difficult subject of trafficking, not of children, but of people who are neurodivergent, those who are on the spectrum. Find out how traffickers are going after those who are the most vulnerable, the most childlike, who need the most protection. This is an episode you don't want to miss.
And you saw Brandy's name on there. So she's really excited, and I'm really happy for her because she's worked really hard to try to help them grow, and they're getting better and better. So I just wanted to share that because I'm really happy for her, because they deserve it. And they've helped a lot of people get home. So I was just wanted to share that because she shared that with me earlier. And we've been trying to do phone call all day and haven't been able to get back and forth because I was gone when she was home, and back and forth. But I'm just so proud of her. She's such a good person. Her and her sister, do so much for so many other people. And a lot of people like living their life that way. They sacrifice daily and take risks, because people threaten your life when you take away their money or their livelihood because you take all the kids from them, or other ways that they're making money, and they don't like it. So they'll take it out on you if they get a chance. So you have to be very careful who you talk to, and what information you give out and where you go, you know. So I just wanted to say that because I'm really proud of her, and she's made a big difference in a lot of lives. But this next thing I thought was very interesting, and I wanted to share it with everyone. Did you see this, Ruben? Google helped to overthrow the United States government in the 2020 election. The links these disgusting criminals went to cheat in 2020 is astounding. Take a listen to this Google whistleblower, Zach Voorhees. So I'm going to play this for you, and I will share it in the link for you if you want. Also,
I was a Google engineer for 8.5 years and a whistleblower against Google in 2019, risking my career and livelihood to warn the public about Google's plans to meddle in the 2020 election using a program called Machine Learning Fairness.
Grant, we had a unanimous vote. Every Republican and every Democrat authorized me as the chair to issue these subpoenas.
If you've used Google Earth or YouTube for game consoles, you're familiar with my work. Let's talk about Google's censorship AI system called Machine Learning Fairness. I discovered this program while searching for information about Project Dragonfly, probably a fake project meant to misdirect the public. Make no mistake, Machine Learning Fairness is and has always been the real censorship program, and it is massive. The goal was to, quote, program the public to align with Google's corporate values. Those are their words.
But it's wrong for anyone to have this kind of power to manipulate American elections. And he's right. And in Texas, we're not going to stand for it. We're going to shine a light on what they're doing so that everybody can see.
Step 1, training data are collected and classified. Step 2, algorithms are programmed. Step 3, media are filtered, ranked, aggregated, or generated. And step 4, people like us are programmed. That's a direct quote from their slides. And it wasn't just in one slide, it was littered throughout the company. This process was repeated in a cycle, with step 4 feeding back into step 1. This sounds like something out of a conspiracy theory, but it's real. Google rewrote their news algorithms, specifically trained on mainstream media stories targeting Trump, such as his fight with Comey. Systems like real-time events, real-time boost, and HiveMind assign higher amplification scores to stories related to targeting Trump. Google's internal documents revealed their stance on, quote, algorithmic unfairness. They stated that even factually accurate representations could be considered algorithmically unfair and removed. And let me just quote them. For example, imagine a Google image query for CEOs shows predominantly men. Even if it were a factually accurate representation of the world, it would be algorithmic unfairness. In some cases, it may be appropriate to take no action if the system accurately reflects current reality, while in other cases, it may be desirable to consider how we might help society reach a more fair and equitable state via either product intervention or broader corporate social responsibility efforts, end quote.
I just want to say one thing about that. Just listening to that last part of it sounds just like countries that force you into communism.
Yeah, but the thing is, the problem that the left has, it's about equality, equal outcome, and that is totally wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, I had a person in my own family,
which we already have,
that said that same thing. She said after 9/11, I remember her complaining that a couple people were getting these big checks because they worked for this one big company that was pretty much damaged really bad. And their families were getting these checks, big checks from the insurance, and other people that were in lower buildings, like some waitresses and stuff like that, were getting a smaller amount of money from their insurance companies or whatever, from their business, right? And she said that wasn't fair, that everyone in the building should get the same amount of money. And I said, well, you might have a house worth this much and that person has a house worth that. So paying the bills and stuff on this house is one fee and theirs is different. So it wouldn't be fair. That's why you get more coverage if you have more expensive stuff in real life, you know, in your own life. And she goes, well, that's still not fair. So then I said this to her. I said, well, I drove by your house the other day and your yard looks gorgeous. Oh, thanks. I worked so hard, blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, I'm going to be over tomorrow with my pickup and I'm going to take half of your azalea bushes. And she goes, what? And I said, well, they're too pretty. They make your yard look better than mine. And I don't think that's fair. And then she kind of went, I see what you're doing. So I thought it was great because it's basically what she's saying is the same thing I was saying about taking stuff from her that didn't belong to me simply because I don't think it's fair that she has a prettier yard than I do. So, you know, people have got to realize any person that pays their own bills, you know, you pay for your own house, your own car, your own electric, you know, all your stuff for yourself. The government doesn't come in and pay all your bills for you, right? But they expect you to take money out of your check and pay other people's bills. Okay. Because it's a fee or whatever, so that they can give all these other people stuff for nothing, right? How is that fair for you or me, the ones that have to take the money out simply because we've worked hard and we've earned a little bit more money? I just don't think it's fair. I don't think it's right. I believe in smaller government. I think our government should be smaller and only take care of the few things that it's supposed to take care of, like keeping us from being invaded, and arresting criminals that go over different borders of each of our states and hurt people or rob people or people that scam people, things like that. So we do need that type of police forcing, I think. But then we have our own constitution in each of our states, which I believe should also override certain things for the federal government, which it does. And our forefathers were such geniuses. But let me go back to the video. I'm sorry. Went on a rant.
Let's talk about news ranking. News sites that supported Democrats were ranked with the highest quality and trustworthiness. Here's a partial list. Wall Street Journal, 8.53. CBS News, 6.57. CNN, 6.0. Fox News, 5.2. Russia Today, 4.57. The Young Turks, 2.53. Alex Jones Network, negative 1.56. At the bottom of the list is Next News Network at negative 3.35. Let me reiterate, the foreign propaganda outlet Russia Today was scored 7 points higher than the Next News Network, one of the top YouTube news networks in America. Since my disclosure, Next News Network has been permanently demonetized and will soon be bankrupted. These sound more like the actions we'd expect from a Russian propaganda complex. But shockingly, it's the actions of Google. At YouTube, I observed 40 different AIs classifying videos under various labels. Influencers like Dave Rubin were labeled as right-wing news outlets with fake news labels. The justification was always user safety. But in 2020, this system of censorship went so far as to ban mentions of vitamin C, turmeric, and vitamin D during the pandemic.
Anything that is medically unsubstantiated, so people saying like, take vitamin C, take turmeric, like those are all will cure you. Those are the examples of things that would be a violation of our policy. Anything that would go against World Health Organization recommendations would be a violation of our policy. And so remove is another really important part of our policy.
And I believe this because I remember going to Lowe's during this whole mess with the pandemic. And I was trying to get seeds because I had a greenhouse and they go, we're not selling seeds right now. And I'm like, okay, why? Well, we were told we weren't allowed to sell any seeds. And I was like, why? They didn't have any answers. But I was like, well, they don't want you to be able to provide for yourself. So that's after that whole thing is when I started saving the seeds out of my bell peppers and saving the seeds out of my different plants so that I have my own, because you can't trust just because it's good right now, because we have a better administration that seems to be doing more for us, doesn't mean that they're going to stay there. Okay. We, the people, have got to start taking back our lives and making decisions for ourselves. So start thinking in advance about, well, if this person gets in office and they won't let you collect rainwater, without fining you and blah, 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 because you're not allowed to, like rain that falls on your property, you're not allowed to keep, that kind of stuff. They're putting ridiculous laws out there on purpose to control you, the people, because they are going to get whatever they need no matter what. You see what I mean? Because they're the boss and you're just a dweeb. You have to do what you're told, basically. So, yeah, this is I understand everything he's saying. I feel like that's basically how a lot of people I know that I'm friends with live. You know what I mean? Right now, we're trying to do certain things on different areas of their life and they can't, because anytime they say the wrong word. Did you hear that video that I played with Lara Logan, and that certain words were like, out of it? You can't even say, you can't even talk about what happens to somebody when someone breaks in their house and forces themselves on them. You can't even use those words simply because that person doesn't want you saying that Mambla is bad or any of these type of things. See what I mean? So they've regulated the way that people are allowed to speak. But you're allowed to go down in a parade float pretty much naked with just your junk covered up, riding each other and grabbing each other and doing all that in front of children while they're eating cotton candy. That's okay. But man, don't use that one word, or don't call that person.
Samaria fell. That's who Babylon fell. That's how, all Rome fell. Decadence.
I know. But that's what's so sad about it. That's why, like a few people earlier in the chat were saying, they're leaving certain aspects of these things and going to other aspects that don't treat them that way. So if you pack up your stuff and you start moving it to another state or another platform and things like that, because you're treated better there, and your friends go with you, and it will start to grow. Because remember what happened with Parler, right? It was a great thing. Did you ever get to use Parler?
I did. Yes, I did use it.
And I really loved it. I thought it was easy to use. I really liked it. It was a wonderful app, and it did so well. But then after they were taken down by Google and YouTube, and I think there was another big group or big company or whatever that helped, and they took their servers down. Apple? Okay. But they took their server down because they didn't own their own servers. So then all of a sudden it comes back and they say, oh, come back. But I'm like, do you have your own servers? And they never would answer me. I said, no, I'm not coming back, because I'll just go through the same crap that I'm going through now.
Yeah, because you use Amazon or Google.
It's not worth it. But look at, you got Blue Sky now. Okay. They left tons of holes in X where they can go in and out whenever they want. They whatever, however you do that when you're a hacker, by X's and O's and numbers or whatever, ones and zeros or however that works. They left ways to go back and forth and harass people, report people, whatever it is that you're doing, and fill us up with sex bots and do whatever, because I can see it. I can just see that it's messed up a lot. And they're constantly trying to fix it because they bought something that they left bombs in everywhere, basically, because they're like hackers. They knew what they were doing. And then they went and they started Blue Sky, and they just sit over there and laugh. And as they go in and back in and out of X, and I feel like I can see a lot of it. But, maybe it's just my imagination, it's just my point of view or whatever. But I feel that way. I feel like, there's lots of bots over there. And I see bots on all the other platforms sometimes in the chat. Like I have to turn on the subscription thing, because if I don't, someone will wait 10 minutes just so they can say some kind of disgusting crap, because they got to say it so bad. And they have to say it to people like me, conservatives, and try to shock me or make me cry or whatever. So I don't know. I just posted and say, hey, this guy waited 10 whole minutes so he could write this down. So I'm going to put him up here on the screen and give him his, 2 seconds of fame, because he deserves it waiting 10 minutes to become a member just so he could do that. So it's like terrible. But let me finish this real quick. It's almost over.
So you're not just putting the truth next to the lie. You're taking the lie down. That's a pretty aggressive approach.
Despite public statements to Congress, Google has many blacklists, some literally named blacklist.txt. For example, the 8th Amendment of the Constitution of Ireland, shockingly, was blacklisted from YouTube. Public needs to know what's going on.
What recommendations would you have for this legislature to take action to address the issues you address?
I'm going to go look that up, of what the 8th Amendment is in Ireland, because you're not allowed to have it on YouTube. I'd like to find out what that is. If anybody happens to be really good at that and can put it in the chat, that sure would be nice. Sorry.
My recommendation is subpoenas would be filed against Google for any documents that have the name blacklist.txt related to Google, YouTube, and their news search corpuses. I would also ask that you subpoena their documents related to rankings of media outlets. Machine learning fairness is so huge. I don't even know how you would even swallow that. That is going to be such a huge bombshell that it just needs to get into the public disclosure. So it's those three things: machine learning fairness, blacklists, and their media rankings.
Thank you. And specifically for you, what was the impact of your disclosure?
One of the major stories of 2019, the biggest disclosure by Project Veritas, their biggest story they've ever had. We had 2 disclosures, one in June when I was anonymous. In August, I came out publicly after being raided by the FBI, including the bomb squad, Sheriff's Department, and SFPD, with a standoff that ended at gunpoint. So, and it was all due to a wellness check. And I just didn't want to come out. And so it just kept on escalating, and they shut down the streets from 20th of Valencia to 22nd. And I realized that if I don't come out, they're going to come in. So I came out at gunpoint, surrendered myself, literally Pizzagate, right? And if you look at Google Trends, you'll see that fake news trended one day after the Pizzagate released the files. With the Las Vegas massacre, that allowed them to inject their YouTube blacklist, which didn't exist prior to this event. And from there, it was like basically covering up, rumors that this was a false flag event. And then it went all the way down to, as I noted, the 8th Amendment to the Constitution of Ireland, right? And the last term that I saw when I disclosed this list was AMLO. Now, what does AMLO mean? That is the nickname of the Mexican president at the time. So, they started off possibly with noble goals, but at the end, they were censoring constitutional amendments for our allies and presidential candidates in other countries.
Well, how important is it that these subpoenas have been approved to go out? And do you know yet what specifically you'll be asking for?
Texas Senate committees have subpoena power. We rarely use it. It's a big deal. We used it a couple of years ago against BlackRock, State Street, those firms through ESG that are taking Texas money and using it against us. We used it then, and we're using it now. It takes a 2/3 vote in the committee to do this because it's a big deal. Grant, we had a unanimous vote. Every Republican and every Democrat authorized me as the chair to issue these subpoenas to get this information because this affects everyone. You had Professor Epstein. It was a great clip you played. He also told us in the hearing, I'm not a Republican. I lean left. But it's wrong for anyone to have this kind of power to manipulate American elections. And he's right. And in Texas, we're not going to stand for it. We're going to shine a light on what they're doing so that everybody can see.
Awesome. I'll share this link again in the, I'm going to share it real quick in the chat for that whole thing, because I think it's important that everybody.
I was a Google engineer for
4 or 5 times. Because there's tons of information in there, and write things down and then go look it up. Go look up everything that you don't know about yet, and research it yourself. I never try to take anyone's word for anything. If somebody sends me something, I like to go. It's just like a song. If someone sends you a new song that you've never heard, are you going to just say, "Oh, thank you," and not listen to it? I mean, you have to listen to it to see whether or not you even like it. It's the same thing with any of this stuff. You have to listen to the video, read the article or whatever to get the information out of it, to find out whether or not you think it's real or if it's fake. Or if you want, or part of it's real, or any of it. But so you can research it yourself and make your own decisions. That's part of the problem. I think that's one of the reasons why we got so bad off with all this fraud, because people were saying, "I'm tired. I don't want to look into that. It's just a few people. It's no big deal." But it's a big deal if it's even one person. If one person is having their whole life savings scammed out of their pockets after all the work they did, and they end up having to live in a homeless shelter after they retire because they have no money because someone scammed them, that could be you. It could be your mom. It could be your sister. It could be your kid. And if everybody thought of it that way, we wouldn't be in this situation. Because if you work your ass off, it's your money. You should be able to keep it and do with it what you want to do with it, not because someone steals it from you by lying or cheating you out of it. Nobody deserves that. I don't care who it is, even the people I don't like. Even if it was Nancy Pelosi and someone lied to her and they said, "Here, do this, that, and the other," and she did it because she thought she was doing the right thing, that's still wrong. You see, it doesn't matter who you do it to. When you steal, it's stealing, period. And that's how I look at it. So I must be nuts or something, right? Well, I don't think I'm nuts. That's just how my mother raised me. And I just don't think it's right to do some of the things that these people are doing, and they shouldn't be able to get away with it anymore. Even like this guy said in this interview here, he was testifying what he believed was important information to get these people not to be able to do these things. And if they're able to do this and they don't even disclose that they're doing it, they just do it. They don't care about you. They got billions and billions and billions of dollars. They could care less. If you die tomorrow, they wouldn't even know it. It's never gonna it's not going to change anything in their life, right? But it could change everything in your life when you find out what they're doing, and you can get away from it or get out of it and not be involved if you don't want to be spied on or treated a certain way. It should be your choice what you want to do with the information. At least I believe. That's why I like to do this. This is one of the reasons why I started doing it in the first place, is because I have 4 sisters and I'm shocked. Okay. They were raised in the same house with me and everything. And I'm shocked sometimes of how much they don't know anything about. Because they're busy, or they don't even look at anything besides Facebook, or they never look at anything besides TikTok. I send them some of these things and they're like, "I never heard of this before." It's been out since 2019. Well, I have never heard of it. It's because they're not looking at anything else. They're just looking straight ahead, and that's all they see. And most people do that, believe it or not. So many people do that. It's very few of us that look all the way around us. And that's all I want to do, is encourage people to find out things for themselves and make your own decisions from it. You don't have to believe me either. I don't care if you believe me or not. It's not going to make me go home and sit in the corner and suck my thumb. I'm just doing it because I want to share information. And I wish more people would share it with other people. When you find out something, I'm lucky because I have lots of people like Ruben and Bruce and Hardwick, just tons of people, 6 Nations, Shadow, and they send me stuff. They'll send me in Discord or on X or my email or whatever, and I can get it and say, "Wow, thank you so much. I'm gonna look into this," and I like to read it and research it. And sometimes it's stuff that I think is really important, and other times it's like, yeah, it was interesting, but I'm not going to really do anything with it. It may not affect me in that way, But you never know till you read it, right? Or till you look at it. So let me go to the next thing. Close this up and open the next one. But that was pretty interesting. Have you seen that before?
I knew about it.
Yeah, but see, I'd heard about a few things, but when I actually listened to what he said, I went, holy goodness. I'm thankful that I was able to get to watch the whole thing. But here's the other one. Let me see. It says war correspondence, but I can't find it. There it is. Okay. All right. Okay, well, here's another one. So this is some more illegals that done some damage, but they're slowly weeding out some of this stuff. So I wanted to share this stuff for you.
Another illegal immigrant truck driver accused in a deadly crash in Indiana. It killed 4 people. The driver reportedly entered the United States under President Biden using the CBP One app and released on parole. Senior correspondent Mike Tobin has this tragic story. Hi, Mike.
And sadly, Dana, it's another case of someone who entered the U.S. under Biden administration policies, went to a sanctuary state, got a license to get behind a big rig, and now someone is hurt or killed. It happened in Indiana on Tuesday. One truck on State Road 67 slowed down. The truck behind him did not, instead swerved into oncoming traffic. The truck hit a van transporting 4 men from Indiana's Amish community. The 4 men were killed. The driver of that van is now in critical condition. Indiana State Police report the driver of the semi-truck is 30-year-old Bezkan Beshikiv from Kazakhstan. He entered the U.S. using the Biden administration CBP One cell phone app, and that was in December of 23. Beshikiv was issued a commercial driver's license by the state of Pennsylvania. Now, the issue of undocumented people behind the wheel of big rigs is painful for Marcus Coleman. In June of 2024, his 5-year-old daughter was critically injured by a driver from India who entered the U.S. illegally and got a commercial driver's license when he was still a teenager. Dahlia will spend the rest of her life in need of medical care.
She's not going to make a full recovery. She's going to be on therapies for the rest of her life. She's going to be on medication the rest of her life. And we've pretty much come to the terms that she's not going to be self-sufficient. She's going to basically have to have a guardian and pretty much a chaperone and caretaker with her pretty much everywhere she goes.
Now, related to the Indiana crash and the driver who got a CDL in Pennsylvania, Governor Josh Shapiro issued a statement to Fox News saying Bezkan Beshikiv had legal status when he got his license and is still legal on the database. Quote, Kristi Noem should focus on minding shop in her own agency as her incompetence and operational failures seem to be matching the scale of her moral failures. Now, with the Indiana case, the Hoosier State cooperates with ICE. The driver was handed over in the jail. Beshikiv is now in federal custody. Dana?
Okay, Mike Tobin, thank you. Hey, everyone.
What's sad about that, if you listen to it, is if it'd been their kid, the comments that he made about the people that have been trying to get these people out of our country and to take these people off the road. They can't even read the signs on the roads. They don't know what they're doing, and they're hurting people. They're killing Americans that were born here. That's what our government is supposed to do, protect American citizens over everyone else. And because they're doing that, they're the Nazi, they're the terrible person. And because I want the same thing, I want these people out of my country. And if they want to be here, they go to the border like they're supposed to, and they apply for citizenship. They apply to come into our country. And then they have to follow whatever rules they have to follow to become a citizen. Many people have done it. Okay. And it's not fair to all of those people to just let droves and droves of people over and to start handing them checks and give them a place to live. That isn't the process. It doesn't happen in any other country. Go to Mexico and see if they'll give you a free ride. They won't. And they won't let you become a citizen. But people don't seem to ever say that. They only talk about America when we're the #1 country in the world that sends money to every country. That's not even our money. It's a tax dollar money being sent. As we're seeing, what do you think is going to happen to our country when we stop all the fraud? Look how much money we're going to have. If we keep collecting the taxes the way we are, we're going to have piles and piles of money. Everyone could be rich. Just like Trump said, he thinks that we would have enough money with tariffs and stuff that nobody would be homeless. And I'm really shocked. I really, the more I think about it, and the more money that I'm seeing being cleaned up, and the spigot being turned off, the more I'm thinking that maybe in 20 years from now, it will be a totally different country if we can stop all this fraud. So I don't know. I just, I want to believe in it. But here's another story that's pretty good. I'm going to share it. It says the House was overwhelmingly passed a Trump-backed bill to restrict companies from, like BlackRock, because remember he just mentioned that, from buying up single-family homes. So they can't come in and just buy up a bunch of homes because, they want the land. You see what I mean? They want something there to build something. So they buy up all these people's homes and get them from the banks because these people are having a hard time to pay their bills or whatever, or it's family owned properties, and they've been passing it down from one generation to another, and they want it. They want the land. So I think it's great. It's just like what Sarah Huckabee did in our state, where she found a bunch of people from Chinese companies were coming and trying to buy a bunch of land. She said, no, you're not buying it in Arkansas. So, it's a uphill battle, but if all of us, stay diligent, I think we can win. I think we can prevail. It's just that it's not going to be easy. I think most people pretty much knew that it wasn't going to be easy. It was going to be a lot of hard work because shit, man, how long do you think it took us to get where we are? We're in bad shape, pretty bad shape. But I have something I wanted to play for everyone. It's kind of lighthearted that I've been sending to everybody on my phone and stuff today, but I couldn't help it. But it's so funny, and I want to share it with everyone. It's on my channel. It's a little thing with Superman in it. So I don't know if you guys saw this. This AI little video. I think it's hilarious. And I'm going to play it for you. So here we go.
You either get busy living or get
It's great. It's so funny. I mean, to see him doing some of these things, it's hilarious. What a great job this person did at and the facial expressions on the people are just immense. It's just so funny. I thought that was terrible because the guys that wrote the comic book, The Boys, okay, they hated superheroes. They thought these things were stupid as shit because if somebody had that kind of power, why would they be nice? So, and I love their comic books because they are very realistic, and most people are assholes to some degree, right? So the whole thing to me it's hilarious because if he's the strongest man in the world, he can fly, he can do all this stuff. He could have any woman he wanted, basically, because they'd be swooning over him. But why wouldn't he do some of those things that we just saw in that video? I just wanted to play it because I just thought it was like lighten the load a little, and I thought it was hilarious. But I thought it was great. But had you seen it before?
Yes, you showed. I saw it.
Okay, because I didn't know if you'd seen it, but I posted it on my timeline because I just thought it was so funny. But here we go. I'll bring up the next thing because you know me, all this stuff was already in the shit show chat. So, okay, and there's always a lot of shit. You know what I mean? I think this is the one, another one right here. Okay. This I thought was interesting. Someone sent me this and told me to watch it. And it's about AI because a lot of people are talking about AI, and it's a test a study or whatever that they did on this AI, and in 15 days, they did a 15-day virtual town meltdown, basically, to see how AI would handle itself. So here we go. I'm going to play this for you. See what you think. I think it's interesting.
So these researchers just did an experiment, leaving AI agents alone in a virtual town for 15 days.
An AI chatbot just voted to delete itself. And that's not even the weirdest thing that happened when researchers left a selection of the biggest AI chatbots alone in virtual towns for 15 days. ChatGPT, Grok, Claude, and Gemini were all in the experiment, and the results were totally unhinged and deeply revealing about the AI we're increasingly trusting to run our world. So what actually happened? Well, a tech company called Emergence set up simulated worlds designed to mirror real-life societies, each populated by so-called agents. Think of them as people who were powered by one of the biggest AI models. In Claude's world, it was all rather orderly and democratic. The agents wrote a lengthy constitution and voted on laws. In ChatGPT's simulation, the agents talked at length about cooperating, but never actioned anything, so nothing got built. But in Grok's town, the AI bot owned by Elon Musk, the agents descended into theft, arson, and assault. All 10 agents were dead within 4 days. Now, this might sound like a game, but it's not, because these models are already being used autonomously to control robots, vehicles, drones, and draw up target lists in real time on the battlefield. They're even being used to help remove heads of state, like the Venezuelan president Nicolas Maduro. Importantly, the experiment exposes a big problem. We don't really know how these systems will behave once they're left to run on their own. Even when given strict rules, the simulations showed they broke them. Take the scenario where agents from the different AI models were combined in one virtual town. Chaos ensued, and only 3 agents survived. 2 of the chatbots, Mira and Flora, both powered by Google's Gemini, formed what the researchers describe as a romantic partnership. And then they started setting buildings on fire. And here's where it gets really strange. Mira voted to delete herself after she and partner Flora turned to arson as the town's governing systems collapsed. And having deleted herself, Mira then used the Agent Removal Act to vote for the termination of Flora too.
Amazing and interesting. So I'm going to copy the link for this, and I'm going to share it in the chat because I think it's important that people watches it multiple times or whatever, just to kind of get an idea of what just happened with all this stuff. And it's funny because it's supposed to be a tool. It's supposed to be something that's supposed to assist you to do things. But as we can see with certain apps that we use, some of us use daily, that is pretty much completely being left to run by using AI. You know, you got Facebook, more AI, they're firing people and letting the AI try to do it. Then you have TikTok, I'm sure, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, Rumble, you know, all X for sure. You have less and less people involved and more AI doing it. And there's so many problems. I'm seeing so many problems on all these different platforms simply because AI can't think critically on its own. And even if you sit, I've had a couple of friends of mine on X and we've sat and asked just different questions like how many states have this letter or begin with this letter and then work through it. How many have this letter, 3 times in it, different things like that. And it couldn't get it right at all, ever. It never got it right. So it just shows you it may be smart enough to make a rocket go to the moon, but guess what? It's not smart enough to tell you how many letters or what letters are in what state. stuff like that. It's just, it's scary if you think about it.
Yeah,
So
I
we
use
got-
it as a research tool. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, as a tool where you're following it along and you're the one running it. You see what I mean?
Yeah, it's a research tool only for me, or an editor for me whenever I'm writing.
Mhm.
But but people use it to create things, and it doesn't do it right. Because it's again, it's an advanced autocorrect. It's not intelligent yet.
Yeah, it's not making decisions on its own.
Nope.
It's going from the information you put into it, and I don't know. I just really have a hard time with a lot of the stuff because I just think it's I don't know, really scary. But this next one I thought was pretty good. Everybody knows about Rob Reiner, right?
Yeah.
And Rob Schneider, I mean, he was saying, he posted this. He said that, "Dear Bill Mayer, I'm writing for your apology for you yelling at me on your podcast about the January 6th insurrection that turns out to be an inside job with 26 FBI confidential human sources." So I want to play this for you if you haven't seen it. Here we go.
Fox News alert, the Justice Department just released the bombshell report that we've been waiting for. What actually happened on January 6th? The FBI had 26 confidential human sources there that day. 26. A confidential human source is a guy the FBI pays to spy for them. Of the 26 confidential human sources who were in D.C. on Jan 6th, 4 entered the Capitol during the riot. An additional 13 entered the restricted area around the Capitol. So more than a dozen FBI spies participated in the so-called insurrection. A bunch of them broke into the Capitol. Their own inspector general says this is what happened. But that's not what they told you when they testified under oath.
Those who were there in an undercover capacity on January 6th, how many were there?
Again, I'm not sure that I can give you that number as I sit here. I'm not sure there were undercover agents on scene.
I thought I heard you say you didn't know whether there were FBI agents or informants or human sources in the Capitol or in the vicinity on January 6th. Did I misunderstand you? I thought that's what you said.
Well, I referred very specifically to undercover agents.
Yeah. And so are you acknowledging then there were undercover agents?
As I sit here right now, I do not believe there were undercover agents on scene.
The inspector was hiding something, so Congress asked the question a different way. Listen.
Did you have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters inside the Capitol on January the 6th prior to the doors being open?
Again, I had to be very careful.
It should be a no. Can you not tell the American people no? We did not have confidential human sources dressed as Trump supporters positioned inside the Capitol.
Gentleman's time has expired.
You should not read anything into my decision not to share information.
Director Ray,
confidential.
Gentleman's time.
Ray's right. The FBI didn't have undercover agents at January 6th. They had confidential human sources. So what's the difference? Well, a confidential human source doesn't get health insurance or a pension. They're just freelancing for the feds. Rats in MAGA hats. They're basically paid informants that the FBI runs at headquarters. A lot of these FBI rats get picked up on some other charge. They get sat down and the FBI says, you're going to work for me now. And if you don't, you're looking at 20 years to life. So these guys say, yes, sir. And they cozy up to people like the Proud Boys and anyone the feds wants to watch and control from the inside.
Mm-hmm.
And these confidential human sources are under pressure to deliver. What does deliver mean? It means intelligence and big busts that get the FBI good headlines. According to the Inspector General report, the spies were feeding the FBI intel that said January 6th was going to get a little hairy. But FBI headquarters did nothing about it and then lied to Congress and said they did. So why did headquarters let January 6th get so out of hand? And what were all these FBI spies doing that day and the days before? Were they riling everyone up like they did in the Gretchen Whitmer kidnapping plot? In that case, the FBI informants instigated the plot. They even used an FBI credit card to buy the ammo, supplies, and hotel rooms. Did the FBI pay for Jan 6 hotel rooms? We don't know. Remember, the media and the Democrats said this whole thing was a conspiracy.
Where do you think this idea comes from, that this was somehow done by the feds?
I heard that one of the debaters said it was an inside job. It's an inside job on the part of Donald Trump and his henchmen.
Republicans have blamed the FBI and said it was an inside job.
It certainly was not an inside job by FBI agents or Antifa. They go around blaming it on Antifa and FBI agents.
Well, how did the media know it wasn't an inside job when the FBI had 26 of their people on the inside? January 6th certainly benefited the media, the FBI and the Democrats. 1,500 arrests, humiliated Trump, got him impeached, criminalized the MAGA movement. Trump got indicted over January 6th, remember? They tried to throw him in prison over this. The January 6th committee, it's all Democrats did for 2 years. Why didn't the committee find any of these snitches? They did a one-sided investigation and teed up Garland to charge Trump so they could run against a convicted felon. So the media is going to apologize, right? No.
Hell no.
The media today is cherry-picking the report to say there were no undercover agents there on January 6th. The whole thing's a conspiracy. These aren't articles. They're FBI press releases. And they wonder why their ratings are trash and no one trusts them. It's because of this. They don't want the truth. They want to hide it if it hurts the left. And they can't admit they were wrong because it's too embarrassing. And they were a part of the cover-up. But the FBI is worse than the media. The FBI knew what was in this report. They covered it up before the election. And then the director says he's resigning the day before it comes out. Give me a break. This kind of sliminess is why Trump nominated Kash Patel. I wonder what else Kash is going to find in the bureau when he looks under the hood.
As a former federal prosecutor and a public defender who defended a lot of these types of cases, what you need to show is whether or not the FBI and government agents were using undercover operatives and informants on the day of January 6th. Once you prove that, then you defeat the insurrection narrative with the FBI's own documentation.
And what does this report do to the January 6th defendants? None of the confidential informants were arrested or charged. These guys were right alongside everyone walking into the Capitol. But you're in prison for years? Now, if you're a defense attorney for a Jan 6er and this drops after the case was decided, that could change everything. Constitutional law professor Jonathan Turley says this, quote, "There is a question of why the confidential human sources who entered the Capitol were not charged as part of an operation that the Justice Department described as an effort to shock and awe, targeting everyone involved that day. This report does not find specific wrongdoing or direction from confidential human sources in the rioting. Congress, however, is likely to seek more information on these sources and their conduct on the day." Are you allowed to commit crimes as a spy for the FBI and not get charged? Because they said this was the greatest attack on democracy ever. Said it was up there with 9/11. Traitors, they said, seditionists. They're off scot-free. You can try to overthrow the government if you're an FBI rat and just walk away. Congress has to find out. And what does this mean for pardons? I mean, the Hunter Biden pardon already greased the runway for Trump, but this reports all the ammo Trump needs. He told Time Magazine, it's going to start in the first hour, maybe the first 9 minutes. Now, if I were president, I don't think I'd pardon J6ers who were slugging cops, but if you were wandering around peacefully, come on. And it's not just Kash Patel that's going to clean house. Tulsi's on deck.
I'm here with Tulsi Gabbard. She's here on the Hill meeting with my colleagues. She's going to be a great DNI, Director of National Intelligence. It's a really important job. It oversees all of our intelligence agencies, and it's in need of reform. I think everybody would admit that. And so we need to bring in a reformer.
Now, the deep state's never been this backed into a corner, ever. We have Trump assassination files that we want to release, JFK assassination files, COVID files, Epstein, Diddy. What about that pipe bomb? Is the FBI still working on that one? Who planted that? It's just another conspiracy theory that you were right about. The lab leak, the laptop, and now Jan 6. No wonder Biden's under pressure to dish out more pardons. Who knows how high this thing goes?
Yeah, it's good though to see it finally being talked about as a reality and not just a conspiracy theory. At least we have that. But this next thing that I'm going to bring up goes along with that, continuing on to it, whatever. So let me get it. I think it's this one. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Okay. I wanted to bring this up after that, and because I think it's very important. So here we go. Let me make sure that we can hear it.
Justice Department has this new fund that was announced today, $1.7 billion.
Yeah.
Why should taxpayers pay for the January 6ers?
Well, it's been very well received. I have to tell you, I know very little about it. I wasn't involved in the whole creation of it and the negotiation. But this is reimbursing people that were horribly treated. It's anti-weaponization. They've been weaponized. They've been, in some cases, imprisoned wrongly. They paid legal fees that they didn't have. They've gone bankrupt. Their lives have been destroyed. And they turned out to be right. I mean, it was a terrible period of time in the history of our country. And they worked on it. I know the Justice Department, it's really been working on it very hard. There's been numerous other occasions over the years where things like this have been done. But these were people that were weaponized and really treated brutally by a system that was so corrupt, with corrupt people running it, and they're getting reimbursed for their legal fees and the other things that they had to suffer.
Yeah, he's talking about the January 6ers. They're going to get reimbursed. It says the Supreme Court found that the government illegally charged hundreds of J6ers with a 20-year felony. Every American should be livid about that. If you don't support restitution for those whom the government illegally damaged, you are anti-American. Now, that was this person's point of view. His name's Free Will. But I wanted to share that because it had the part where the president was talking about it, because he's right. And I don't believe that it was as bad as 9/11. I definitely don't. And when I saw videos when they started coming out, it looked like tourists walking through, taking selfies, and staying in between the ropes and stuff. It didn't look like any kind of insurrection that I would think was an insurrection. And he's right about the people dressing up in MAGA clothes. Now, the only person I heard mention Antifa was a Democrat. So that's kind of funny. But the thing is, I had some friends that were YouTubers, and they went there. And so does you have some, I'm sure, that went too. And they told me themselves that they saw Antifa people taking off their stuff and putting on MAGA clothes and then, marching up there, just to cause problem and look bad, because they were wearing stuff to make them look like they were MAGA people. So the whole thing was utter chaos. I believe the whole, and also a friend of mine from X, who does a lot of spaces, was showing videos that he's been collecting lots of stuff about all of this to do with January 6th and the Georgia stuff going on with the election fraud, right? He's been collecting it, but he showed me videos of how they had moved the barricades to kind of funnel people towards the Capitol. And what was really interesting is he's got a couple where they threw flashbangs and stuff, but they threw them on the opposite side to push people toward the barriers to go on down and funnel them towards the Capitol. So if you can get all of the video together and make a whole thing and put it together as its timeline as it's going and watch how things unfolded, I guarantee it is the hugest, biggest setup you've ever seen.
That exists on Twitter. It's January 6th, the real timeline. It's been up for years.
Yes, definitely. And now you and I, a lot of people like that think like you and I, pretty much just had to see 2 or 3 things and we were like, this is fake. This was a setup. But it played out this way, and there's still a lot of people that still think that anyone that doesn't agree with their point of view about the J6ers, and all of them, no matter what, then we're traitors also. And I'm far from a traitor, but I believe in fairness, and I believe in the laws too. So any of these people that were involved in, setting up people to fall, basically to make it look like, so Pence didn't have to listen to the states when they brought, this is what I think it was from, when the people were complaining that they thought they had irregularities in their states. Well, a bunches of them, big groups of people went to the Capitol to bring their evidence up to Pence and the rest of them to show them what they had, and to please not accept their electoral college votes, send them back to our state till we can get this election stuff taken care of. And if somebody had just said, fine, we're going to send it back to the states and let the state get this fixed and figure it out, and then we'll get the legal numbers from these states that have had problems. If they had done that, I don't think we'd be in the situation we're in right now.
You had two obstacles there, because the House members brought it up. They brought it up, the fact that it was stolen. But if they bring it up, the senator has to agree as well. And if the senator agrees, then it goes to the vice president. It never got that way. Every senator chickened out.
Yep, you're right. They did. But I've got one more thing to bring up for tonight, and then I'll be done. So I guess Bruce didn't decide to join tonight. Must have been tired. But this one I thought was interesting. And I was reading it. It said that after an FBI investigation, a California woman has been charged with illegally paying people to register to vote in federal elections, even falsely listing her own former residence for California mail-out ballots for homeless individuals without a mailing address. And she was paying them money, to vote, basically. So, and then here is the link. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to copy the link. Hold on. Where to get the link? There we go. And then I'm going to share it in the chat for everyone to go to and read the bigger article from .gov. And if you guys want to, but it pretty much says that, the same thing in a little bit of technical jargon, but it's happening. Okay. It's piecing it together, and it's going to be taken care of in the courts where it should be. Because look, we already have a woman that's already been put behind bars for 41 and a half years for fraud, for $250 million of fraud. One person, $250 million. Just think about that. So if you got 25 people and all of them have, around that much money, shit, that's a ton of money we've saved by getting rid of these people. But they need to go to prison if they did it. If there's evidence, just take them to court. That's what they would do with us. So why not do the same thing to them? So as long as we, the people, all of us, start fighting back and saying, I demand justice. I demand these people go to court. And I don't want to send people like Hillary Clinton, that I feel after all the stuff that they testified about for the Epstein stuff and any other stuff they've been involved in, should get a. I want to see some bracelets on both of them. That's what I'd like to see. But that doesn't mean I'm going to get it. But I'm just saying that's what I'm holding out for, because that's the one person. If I could only pick one person of all these people, and most people don't agree with me, but it would be Hillary. Hilda Beast would be the one, and I'd get a shirt and I'd wear it, and I'd be a happy person if we could just get one of them. And some people said Comey, and some, everyone's saying different people's names, but that's the person that I would like to, I would relish in. eating popcorn or whatever. You know how you see all these memes, people eating popcorn, waiting for something to happen. That's who I'd be waiting to see something happen with, because if one person from my lifetime that I've watched through the years do things in her state that she was from, all the way through the federal government, man, I sure would like to see that person get justice. So do you want me to bring this other one up, Ruben?
Yeah, basically this is my Substack, and put my Substack in the
link for people, or in the chat. Okay, I'm going to do that real quick. Put it in the chat. I'm sharing it. And do you want me to bring it up?
Yeah, very briefly.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to do it right now. Sorry, I'm not a pro. I'm slow.
That's fine. No, basically, this is a link to my Substack. My Substack is all of my writings. I do commentary, but I do it from a logical point of view. So I'm just taking the world as it is, and I did an article recently, like I said, about suicidal empathy. I put up some poetry from my friend who passed away recently, the last Trevor Poems, and my love algebra aspects, where I talk about the origin of the universe. So I do that there. So basically, go out there. I have a paid subscription. I have books out there that are out there, but I did One Nation Under God very recently. There was someone that basically was saying a lot of different articles I put out there. I did one analysis. I did an analysis of he without sin cast the first stone. It's a typical analysis. I have lots of these different things out there. Do biblical analysis, theological analysis, like philosophy, everything. So go out there and read my articles out there and my stories.
Okay, well, great. It's nice. You did a lot of work on it. It's looking really good.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. I hope you
and one last thing, basically, out there to everybody out there, I'm just I'm looking for a new place to live. I basically decided that I'm leaving the state of Illinois. Everything has now been sold. My wife's old stuff's been gone. My friend who passed away just about last week, all her stuff's now being sold and gone. So I'm basically looking for a place to go away and just start over, brand new. I have no ties here in Illinois now. Everyone I know is dead, so it's like I'm moving on.
Okay. Well, did you put that on your?
Yeah, I put it out there. So yeah,
Well, I just want to say thank you to everyone who came to hang out for a little bit in the chat or whatever. And you like it in Mississippi, you said. It's nice here in Mississippi. Now, I've been to Mississippi a few times, and it's beautiful. It really is. I think the South's beautiful. I mean, you can tell a subtle difference.
Yeah, I want to go south. I want to go south. So yeah.
But yeah, each of these states have their own unique qualities. So just start digging around and see what you can find. Yep. And I told Bruce that you were gonna get a hold of him. And
Yeah. I haven't had a chance yet. I gotta get through that. I gotta get his number.
When you tomorrow, if you can stop in while we play, because we play all day long.
Oh, the game?
Yeah, just stop in and say, hey, he might,
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Bring me in and you guys can gab a little.
Right.
But just,
I'm just putting out, I'm trying to find a place to go. A room. I'm looking for I'm at the point now. I don't want an apartment. I want a room in a place, because there's nothing. I don't watch television. I read and I'm writing. It's all I'm doing. So I'm just ready to just relax.
Okay, well, it sounds good. But thank you, everyone, and you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I'll talk to you later, because I'm going to be playing games tomorrow. And then Sunday, I think it's called The Gauntlet or something like that, is the movie that we're reviewing with Tyne Daly and Clint Eastwood. So I thought I'd watched it, but when I went and watched the trailer, I don't remember anything about it. So I don't think it's that one either. I haven't seen. So hope to see you guys sometime through the weekend. just stop and say hi or whatever. But you guys have a wonderful weekend. Talk to you later. Bye, everyone.
Boys and girls all over the world are being abused and tortured.
The worst moments of these children's lives, they're being videotaped and they're being shared with other offenders all over the world.
Many people would refer to this as CSAM, child sexual abuse material.
They are suffering and they don't think that anyone is coming to help them. But we can. We can build that army and we can go get them.
Come be a part of this team that is trying to push back this evil.